It's another beautiful one of June, and we're back with our monthly teaching series. Have you been? I hope last month blessed you, and this month I would be having more like a sequel, right? More like a conversation that um, continues or gives a better, when I say gives a link or a progressive thought from previous teachings of last month. This month is scarred the badge. Yeah, are you scarred? Yeah, that's the badge. And why? Why did I title it so? Very simple. Because we have come to an understanding from various studies and ponderings and learned experiences that every professional and everyone who practices in a field is given a license. Everyone who practices in a given field is licensed to do so. You have that for doctors, you have for engineers, you have for nurses, you have for lawyers, you have for almost every field of study. And life in itself is modern nature. I believe that such wisdom was deduced from the observation of life. And what do I mean? Our experiences, what we have been through, what we have followed through, the processes we have been exposed to, all of that builds up to the license we have to speak on a matter, to be in charge of certain things in life, to become authorities, to begin to help other persons navigate same or similar parts of life. And one thing that has not been so emphasized, especially in this facade timeline we live in, where we only paint the beauties, we only show the successes. We forget that the license actually comes much more from failures also. Yes, I believe that people will fail less if one who failed could come out and teach from their own standpoint and from their own experiences what it really is to fail or feel like failure. You know, it's easy when you see someone who has succeeded come out and say something like, failure is not failure is not final. But there are persons who actually have so much baggage in failing at things for whatever reason. Whatever reason, they have so much baggage, so much medals in the line of starting things and not succeeding at it multiple times that they have succeeded. And it will be beautiful if they came to teach us from the experience from that standpoint. And so, dearest people, I termed this one scarred the badge. And why? Because it's about time you stop hiding your flaws and the errors or the scars from your days of error and ignorance. It's about time. It's about time we were able to own and be unashamed about the path we told and the things that it cost us as either a result of our stubbornness, exuberance, zeal, ignorance, or whatever the case may be, miscalculations, projections that did not come to pass. Whatever the case may be, it's about time we stopped being ashamed. Yes, people could have given you an advice. It's all subjective to your own reasoning, to your own determination to take it or not take it. And just maybe you flunked their advice because you felt you knew better and you got injured along the way. You had a problem, you had an issue, you stumbled on something, you couldn't effectively work the works. Listen, it doesn't remove you from the game. Rather, I think it makes you a better figure to help others navigate it. Because you would meet someone and someone else will come along that same line with the same zeal, if not worse than yours. And you will be able to mirror from the scars, not from the successes now, from the wounds, uh, how and why they should navigate life a little differently, how and why they should navigate life a little differently, a little more with caution. It's easier to listen to someone, relatability, right? Relatability is seen when we listen to people who we can tell are not speaking from learned experiences, but from actual experiences, and not just speaking the books, and not just theorists, and not just philosophizing, but are speaking from pragmatic standpoints. There is this relatableness, there is this empathy, there is this soulish connection we get to feel with persons who have or seem to have passed through the same waters and are real with the issues they encountered as they pass through these pathways. In all honesty, I believe this has been my strong point, especially in dealing with people, in counseling, and in connecting with people. It was easier for me to console persons when they knew I too know what it is to struggle. It was easier to talk with an addict when he knew, oh, I know what addiction can do in a particular light. I know what it is to not be able to do without a particular thing. And I could share that story with the person struggling and show how I navigated, not making a fuss or a false impression of some miraculous breakthrough through the process. Most times what we have in society is people who try to feel among, people who may have experienced at a temporal level what was a reality for you within an entire timeline. So, take for instance, someone who was an occasional drinker or alcohol consumer of alcohol rather, that quits it, coming out to speak on addiction. Meanwhile, the only time the person actually ever drank was when the person went out to a bar. There was no dependency, there were no issues, there were no things that triggered it. The person willfully did that and willfully quit. And now the person talking about addiction, like he knows what addiction is about. No, he or she doesn't. Respectfully so, the process to quit deliberate error is not the same thing to quit an error, even though we entered deliberately, has now got a hold on us. And so this message is for the ones who life has bruised at some point, and somehow we're back to reality, but reality seems to only celebrate the good, and reality seems to only applaud and want to see the picture perfectness in every individual. I am here to tell you, you do not need to wipe away your story. Oftentimes I've had mentees and other persons sometimes ask me, oh, I used to have so and so posts back then. I went back to read all those things I used to do, or I used to put out there on the internet, and I felt like deleting them. And because I noticed that as people begin to progress, they removed all of those histories. So all of their pages just contain success stories. And I tell them, don't do that. Don't do that, because you will make a deceitful form of leadership. You would be telling a lie. Because when people try to look at your origin, try to go into your history, and they can only see a quality that you are currently manifesting as though that was what you started with, then you are a lie. Yes, you are a lie. You need to be comfortable with people knowing that you grew through a process. That there was a time the aspect of your knowledge was limited. And I really appreciate leaders who dare to bear their vulnerability with us, who dare to show those scars, because they are no longer ones because we healed, but however, there are some prints, right? There are some things we did, some maybe physical scars, right? I mean, one of the beautiful things I learned from my mentor that made me never become that youth that pushes himself out for some form of violent combat. So when he told me the story of what happened to his eye, and he sat me down, told me how it was a village combat, told me the whole story, told me what he planned to do afterwards and how things unfolded in that intercommunal clash he went for and stuff like that. And it was beautiful to see that this man who is teaching me order, bringing me to God and helping me in clarity, was once someone who could shoot some ammunition. It did something to my mind, because I knew I was not a lost case. Even if I was struggling at things, if this person could rewrite his story through learning, through mentorship, through growth, giving time to change and allowing himself go through the process of time, if such a man could subject himself to such things, then I am not a lost case. And that was the biggest deliverance for me. That was something that hit my eyes deeply. Another mentor of mine opened me up to a few of his errors whilst he was budding. And honestly, it has helped navigate me out of certain deep waters that I would have meddled in. If care and if such realities were not shown that you are prone to these things, sometimes your wounds, which have now become scars, is what will help the others evade the problems you encountered. And if we conceal scars, what happens is the problem of history repeating itself, because no one is availing a next generation, no one is availing a next set, no one is availing would the word now be proteges? The storylines of what happened to them in the process. And so, dearest listeners, being scarred is a testament of victory. Whilst it is a witness to the harm and to the havoc you suffered, it is also the testament, the proof, the evidence that you were not conquered by it. Why? Because the wound is no longer fresh. The wound no longer exists. It just has a print that it was once there. And the scar, like I like to put it, is the evidence that I am still here whilst that problem is no longer there. What could it be? It could be addiction to substance, addiction to pornography. It could be addiction to lies. It could be dealing with gambling. It could be It could be lack of discipline. It could be anything. It could be failure in academics. It could be failure in business. It could be suffering at the time. It just could be anything. It could be pain right now. It could be the effects of losing a loved one and the spiraling effects of such emotional trauma that has led you into many other habits. It could be anything that is the wound right now. And my scars and the scars of those who have gone ahead of you is a testament that even you can survive. Even you can rise out of it. And so I avail to you through this video that do not conceal your scars. No need for concealers and makeups or foundations to build upon the face that is not. Let them see the marks that life has given. Now, am I saying you should just tell your story careless? No, because your stories are actually your treasures. Yes, they are. They are now your natural resources, your raw goals that you would refine, you would sit with. So the scars will be a testament of the experience, but the experience in itself is a box of many goodness for you to bring forth. So this is actually an encouragement to one who is doing so much in this, in trying to become better, doing so much in trying to rewrite the wrongs. No, no, no. It's past already. You really can't rewrite the wrongs. Listen, it's almost a futile journey, right? However, you have so much you can do. So much you can do. You can help others not make the same. You could make a decision that this ends with you, and it will only end by you refining the experience, bearing the testament. No, you would not want the scars to vanish. I mean, just like Jesus would not want to take away the marks in his body, even though he rose from the dead. It's always going to be a proof that this thing was going to put an end to something that had power before. And that's the same thing you're doing. It's a similar thing. So you would have the scars, you would have the bruises, you would have those marks that tell, oh, you one time followed bad guys. That was where the Scots came from. But that survival from that experience, the fact that he was able to turn a new leaf, has made him brew a new life, has made him brew a new path, has made him create a possibility that what looks like a hopeless case can come back. This can be in anything, can be in health. You have been given finality from medical sciences, and you were able to survive that. You were able to rise above it. You were able to thrive. Dearest one. It is part of the process for you to help others who find themselves in that situation speak. I think you're more licensed to, more than anyone who reads a book that you author, and you are more licensed to tell the story. So I'm saying that has life dented you in some way? Has it given you some experience and you have not been able to recover from it? Dear one, that's the badge. That's the license. That's what gives you the authority to help people in that region. I remember I was going through a particular health situation, and a spiritual leader once looked at me and said, "Do you know that your ability to conquer this effectively can also make you a solution to many others who find themselves in such difficult moments later in life?" And truth be told, it has inspired my approach towards people who have gone or who are going through illnesses. It has stirred my passion to be of help, and I'm able to share the little that I know with such persons and things that saw me through. If it works for you, the possibilities of it working for another is very, very, very much in existence, because you are not some special human. That's one thing that applies. That's why it's malaria medicine for everybody. We may have different brands we take. We may have some persons may not be able to take some particular kinds of combinations, but it's going to be, you're not going to be the only one. There's nobody that is only one particular person that we created one tablet. Only this person's body can take this tablet. Nah, there's nothing like that. There is no such uniqueness in life. And so whatever you're suffering, whatever you're going through, whatever pain, whatever problems you're going through, and they tend to leave marks in your life, that's how you teach others. That's what would give you the credence to speak and others will listen. So what's the point of this new month's um, teaching now, or will I call it exhortation? Yeah, it's almost sounded like I was about to start preaching, yeah? But what's the whole idea of this? Two things. First, do not wear off. Don't wear out the scars. Don't bleach it. Don't cover it. Don't hide it. That's the testament of victory. It doesn't make you ugly. It beautifies. No, it doesn't bring a memorial of your past. It actually shows hope to someone who is struggling there. I mean, just imagine someone who is trying to quit addiction from smoking, right? Meets someone who tells a story of smoking for 30 years and is been clean for another 30 years. It'll be easy to listen because regret is doing the same thing it has been doing since inception. The times did not change, its effects did not change. So imagine if we had more people who survived addictions teaching addicts how to recover. Imagine if we had more people who survived abuse, were able to rise from abuse, teaching victims of abuse of all forms how to recover. Just imagine how much healing will come from the scars of those who have gone ahead of us and endured same or similar things. Yes. So this is a call to those who bear those heroic badges that the Picture Perfect world has come to hide and tell you no, hide it, don't share. People don't like knowing that you had a past. It's past for a reason. It's no longer in existence. Hi, come out, help us, the younger generation, right? Help us. So I come your way next time. I really hope this blesses you. I really hope this was able to motivate someone. I really hope this is also able to stir someone because some persons are going through a phase and they would be the pioneers to help others who come through it. I hope this keeps you through and makes you know that you are earning the authority to stand in such office, in such field, and say certain things and command attention. Pardon my sweaty face. It's not always like this. Take care of yourself, guys. I love you. Bye.